We're going to be covering addition today, and again, I know addition for a lot of people is not very difficult. It might be one of those very first things that we learned in math, maybe in first or kindergarten, first or second grade, and it's something that I think we use every day, especially addition. But I just want to mention really quick that I decided to start with these first 4 videos talking about the basic 4 operations that I think are a basic foundation for all of mathematics. And that would be addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Now, I've had some people talk to me about their bad experiences in math. And they just say, I don't like math. I never liked math. I was never good at math. And I think some of that has to do with their lack of mastery. Not just know how to do it, but being masters at these 4 operations. And even I make a lot of mistakes too, but I do try to improve my speed and my familiarity with the numbers. The more I do them, the more I add them, the more I do these operations with them, right? And again, so if you can master those 4 operations, chances are you'll have a much better experience learning math because you're not bogged down trying to count on your fingers, which isn't a bad thing. I even put that here. It's okay to count on your fingers. But, you know, when you're bogged down doing the operations, it's harder to look at what the new concept is in math. So you're not focused on the concept. You're getting bogged down with the solving of the problem. You know, doing the actual number crunching. And so again, if you have better mastery of that, you can focus more. You can use less brain power over here with the number crunching and spend more brain power looking at the concept and learning that new concept. Make sense? Okay. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. So I say when we're adding, and the same goes for multiplying, because both operations, addition and multiplication, we're making things bigger. We're clumping things together, making more of it. The order doesn't matter for either one. And so basically what I'm saying is, like, if you have 3 plus 5, it's the same thing if you add 5 plus 3. It doesn't matter which one you put first, is what I mean. Same thing with multiplication. 3 times 5 is the same as 5 times 3. Okay, and that works only with augmentations or making things bigger. Okay, so conversely, or opposite, when we're subtracting or dividing, the order is very important. Okay, so I put here it's possible to add more than 2 amounts at a time, even though technically you're only adding 2 numbers at a time. But you'll see problems. I guess I should have said you'll see problems that will have, you know, several numbers sometimes, several amounts that you have to add, you know, in one problem. And that's what I'm referring to, even though the actual adding that you'll be doing is only like with 2 numbers at a time. But anyway, we always line up the decimals, and this goes also for subtraction. Okay, we line up the decimals. Now remember that every number has a decimal. If I say the number 3, for example, there's an understanding that it's actually 3.0. There's no, just because, well, whenever I don't have any other number after the decimal, we typically don't say we don't say a point. We don't say I have 3.0. We just say I have 3. But we have to understand that if I say 12, it's actually 12.0. So just remember that every number has a decimal, even if they don't put it there. That just means that it's not needed. Okay? And it's okay to use your fingers and toes. You know, I have students that, you know, obviously I'm talking about to count, you know, counting on your fingers and counting on your toes. Don't count on your toes, you know, I mean, unless you already have open toe shoes or something. But I was going to say that typically whenever I'm adding or subtracting, I like to check with my fingers. I really do, because I find that I get the answer right more frequently, you know, if I count with my fingers. And I guess that's because my learning style, maybe like yours, you like to feel things. You like to, you're tactile when you learn. And that's just the way I am. I like doing things hands-on. And being that math is kind of abstract, it's kind of hard to touch something and really feel it. So I think that's why I like to count on my fingers. And it works for me, you know, it does. So we'll go ahead and start with something easy. Simple, in my mind. Not for everybody, maybe. But 3 plus 2 plus 7. And again, the order doesn't matter. I could even add 7 plus 2 plus 3. It doesn't really matter. Or I could add 2 or 3 plus 2 I already said that. 3 plus 7 plus 2, or 7 plus 3 plus 2. Anyway, it doesn't really matter the order. And because of that, I think with practice, and again, we're trying to strive for that mastery, right? That mastery. I think for me, in my mind, I would add probably these two together, the 3 and the 7 first, in my mind. And the reason for that is because I know that 3 plus 7 is 10. And adding anything to 10 is relatively easy. So like 10 plus 5 is 15. 10 plus 9 is 19. So it's easy. 10 plus 12 is 22. It's easy for me to do that. So I like the 10. I like making a 10 because it's just a more common number in my mind. So I would probably go 3 plus 7 is 10 plus 2 is 12. All right? But again, if you go 3 plus 5, or 3 plus 2 is 5, and then 5 plus 7 is 12. It gives you the same thing. But patterns in numbers are what help people get those answers and raise their hand first in class, right? Because you're familiar with a lot of those patterns and you can crunch the numbers a lot more efficiently. All right, so let's go ahead and put the next one. So this is 13.16 plus 12. Now, I never add my numbers typically in this horizontal fashion. I typically line mine vertically. And that's what I'm going to do here. Remember, 12 has a decimal, it's just that I didn't write it. So that means that I probably should write it, right? So first off, I'll line up my decimals, right? And it's going to be an addition problem. So I got to put my 12 in the right place. And the 12 is going to go right underneath the 13. Because remember, it's 12 point nothing. And if you really want to put the nothing, you can add the zeros. And sometimes it just looks better, you know, to have the zeros there so you can see the whole number, the whole thing, right? So anyway, so we'll just go through, and when we add, we start from the right side and we move to the left. Okay, that's how we do it. And we just go column by column. All right? So that's what we're going to do. So 6 plus nothing is 6. 1 plus 0 is 1. Point over point is over point. We just put the point, we just bring down the point. Got to keep the decimals lined up. And then we go 3 plus 2, and that's 5. And 1 plus 1 is 2. So the answer is 25.16. Okay? You'll notice that everything that we added, the two numbers that we would add each time, they never added to a number that was larger than 9. And that's kind of important because when we get to the next problem, we're going to see that when we add the 2, like 6 plus another number, it's going to be bigger than 9. And it's going to have two numbers, like maybe 12 or something like that. And that's where we're going to have to put the right-hand number down and pick up the left-hand number and add it to the next column of numbers. Well, let's take a look at that now. So, key thing though is to line up the decimals. That's always the most important part. And you know, since we're doing these, I would recommend stopping the video and just doing it and see how you go and see how it works for you. And if you're doing good, you might just want to move on to the next video. I don't know. All right, so if you want to go ahead and pause the video, go for it. Check it out, see what you get, all right? All right, so here we go. So again, we start from the right-hand side and we move our way to the left. And we just go column by column. All right, so the first column is 9 plus 15. 9 plus 15, what? No, 9 plus 5, sorry. 9 plus 5. So 9 plus 5 is 14. I don't know why I said 15, geez. So it's 14, and I'll carry the 1. So when my 14 right here, right, when it adds up to 14, a 2-digit number, the right-hand number you put down, the left-hand number you put on the next column, on top of the next column. And that's how it works. So now this column has 3 numbers I have to add. Okay? And I was talking about those patterns. Remember patterns. I know that 1 and 5, and this isn't a difficult thing, right? But sometimes, I don't know, my mind, I see it like in blocks. And numbers, groups of numbers block together really quickly in my mind. And I tend to be relatively fast at adding. Not like my friends, but anyway. And I see that 1 and 5 is 6. And I know that 6 and 6 is 12. So again, 12 is a 2-digit number. The right-hand number will go down on the answer here. And the left-hand number, in this case the 1, will carry over to the next column. Carry the 1. All right, so now we have, well, 4 and 8 is 12 plus 1 is 13. I forgot to bring down my point. Let's put that there. 13. So I put the 3 down, carry the 1. And I have 8 and 1 is 9, right? 3, 5, and 1 is 9. Okay, so 93.24 or 93.24. All right, hope you got the same answer. So that's just an example of having to carry the left-hand digit over to the next column. Let's do one more. Well, maybe one or two, let's see. See how I feel. And again, stop the video. Not yet. Let me write down the problem first. All right, so just so you know, this could have been written like 2.5, okay, but maybe we just want to put the 0 so that most numbers, well, that's another thing, we could put a 0 here as well, right? 0, 2.5, 0. But again, we never really put the zeros in front of the whole number like that. But I think 2.50 or like maybe like $2.50 is very common, so it looks okay. But I'll go ahead and get started. So the first column, I have 3 numbers. Well, most of these I have 3 numbers. And just because this 9 is too close to the 0, I'm trying to teach it, so I better make it more clear. The column's a little bit more clear, right? Okay, so 5 plus 5 plus 0 is 10. So the right-hand number in 10 is 0. Carry the 1. So it's 1 and 0, that's 10. All right, so I see a 10 in there. Do you guys see the 10? I see these two numbers are 10. 7 and 3 is 10. 10 plus 5 is 15. Plus 1 is 16. 6 goes down, carry the 1. I see another 10. You see the 10? I see the 10. 8 and 2 is 10. Plus 1 is 11. And I see another 10. The 1 and the 9 are a 10. So the 1 and 9 are a 10. So 10 plus 4 is 14. 141.60. All right? All right, cool. All right, I'll do one more, and then I'll give you guys just one problem to do on your own, even though you guys could be stopping all these ones. But I just want to do one more. One more together, even though we do all of them together, right? That's cool. So 25.8, and again, that could just be 80. This is going to be 1,045.65. And the last number will be, again, 2.5, or let's just go and put that 0 there, 2.50. And we're going to go ahead and add all these together. All right, so now we have 4 numbers in the problem, which is very common. Okay, very, very common when we're adding. So let's just take it column by column, starting from the right. 0 plus 0 plus 5 plus 0 is 5. Nothing to carry because it's just 5, right? Okay, next column. Do you guys see patterns in that next column anywhere? I see a 10. Do you guys see a 10? I see that my 10 could be the 4 and the 6. 4 and 6 is 10. Plus 8 would be 18. Again, adding things to 10 is real easy. So I have 18 here, and 18 plus 5 is like, well, 23, right? I'll carry the 2. All right, I have another 10. I think it's pretty obvious. I have the 5 and 5 is 10. And I have 3 2s. 1, 2, 3, 2. So that's like basically saying like 3 times 2, you know, it's 6. So I have 10 and 6, that's 16. Okay. I have 4 and 4. Do you guys see the 4 and 4? I have 4 down here, and 2 plus these 1 and 1, you know, there's 1 and 1 is 2, so I have 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. Okay, again, it's just that pattern recognition, that number recognition. And 8 is not a 2-digit number, so I don't have to carry anything. 1 plus 0 is 1, and my last column just has a 1. And again, if you really wanted to, you could put zeros here. I wouldn't, and I probably wouldn't even recommend it. It just takes more time, and it kind of gets a little confusing. But you can, okay? So there's that one. All right, I have one more for you guys. One more small problem. And we'll call it quits today. And I don't know why I put it on the board. I guess I just like to roll things around. Okay, so Again, I put this one horizontally, the 4 numbers horizontally, because I want you guys to line them up yourself, okay? So go ahead and stop the video and give it a go. All right, so how did it go? I'm going to go ahead and use, just because of the location, I'll use a 28 as my first number, and I'll start stacking these other numbers underneath it. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and move the 35 over here. 3512, that is. And I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll put 14 and 10. Remember that my decimals need to line up. In this case, I will add some zeros. And just to kind of clean it up a little bit, I will kind of take these guys away. And this guy, and this guy, and that little plus sign. Okay, so now we have them all lined up. Hopefully you guys lined them up in a similar fashion. Doesn't matter the order. I don't know which one you put first. And that's because when you add things, it doesn't matter which one goes first, in which order. Okay, so starting with the right column, 5 plus 2 plus 0 plus 0 is 7. 5 and 2. And I have another 7. 6 plus 1 is another 7. Right? And then I'll just bring down my point. And I look for patterns. Sometimes the patterns aren't that clear. But, well, let's try another one. Let's see what we got here. And then another pattern that always rings true in my mind, that always is very recognizable to me, is the 8 and the 4. I know that 8 and 4 is always 12. And 2 and 5 is 7. We already did that. 2 and 5 is 7. So 12 plus 5 is 17. Okay. I don't know. Anything you guys see for like a pattern recognition kind of thing? No? I see 4 and 4. Do you guys see 4 and 4? I kind of do. It doesn't matter. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1. It's very simple, right? So maybe you might want to just go 5 plus 1, 6 plus 1, 7 plus 1, 8, right? Maybe something like that. All right, well, there it is. Hopefully I did it right. And I won't get like a comment saying, hey, you added it wrong. Because I didn't use my fingers this time. Again, I say like when I use my fingers, I typically get the answers right more often. So again, keep practicing. This takes a lot of practice to be quick. And it's easy to make up numbers. My suggestion would be just write numbers arbitrarily, you know, just randomly. Pick them up, put them, line them up, and see how fast you can add. Challenge your friend, challenge your classmate. Say, hey, I got a problem, write it down, write it down. Both write it down, ready, set, go. And see who can get the answer faster. Competition, friendly competition, can be a good thing to help you get that mastery level so that when you do other problems in math that are more hard, more complex, you'll have at least these fundamentals solid, mastered, right? Okay, so keep practicing, challenge somebody.